What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be working on something a little bit different. I don't know if you guys watched a few videos back. I introduced this E39 M5 that I have sitting here, which is a friend of mine's, and he wants me to do just a bunch of stuff to this car, which I have most of the parts here. I don't have all of the parts, but I went ahead and laid out most of the parts here that we have today, just so I can show you guys what we're going to be doing. So a little bit of info on the car. The car is a 2001 E39 M5, obviously with the S62 engine. It's already got a few mods done to it, such as like upgraded rear taillights, exhaust system, which I believe those are like two off-brand mufflers, but it sounds really good. I'll probably show you guys in a second or two what it sounds like. It obviously is not the original color. This is a like Nardo gray wrap. The original color is actually like a Silverstone. I don't know how well you guys can tell on camera, but yeah, the wrap actually looks really good on this car. He's got upgraded headlights with like angel eyes, upgraded bottom grille, upgraded fog lights, and then on the interior he has like the upgraded aluminum trim, which looks really nice. The original trim was wood. You can tell from like the e-brake, because that's not changed yet. We'll change that later on. But yeah, the interior looks much better. Other than those few things, for now the car itself is pretty much stock. The engine and everything else is stock. Suspension is stock. I believe he actually ordered suspension for this car. It's just not here yet, which we'll be installing in a later video most likely. He also has a ESS supercharger kit for the car, which I will show you guys in a later video. It's not a part of the parts here. But yeah, moving on to the parts, like I said before, this isn't all of the parts. Still missing the supercharger kit, water pump, and stuff like that. Starting from here, we got some fresh oil filter, the oil plug right there. We got new timing chains with all the timing guides and gaskets that's needed, like the front main seal, valve cover gaskets. All of that is being changed. We got new rod bearings from VAC Motorsports, coated rod bearings with ARP hardware. We got both oil pan gaskets, upper and lower. All brand new brakes and brake pads, front and rear, with their sensors. We got new upgraded stainless steel braided brake lines from Turner Motorsport. We got Beamer World pedals right here. We got an upgraded aluminum CSF radiator, which should help with cooling a little bit, because where we live it's like freaking insanely hot outside. I believe that's an upgraded fan or auxiliary fan. We got an upgraded spec. I believe it's a twin disc clutch setup, which should hold enough power for that ESS supercharger. This is actually rated at like 900 horsepower, something like that, or 1000 horsepower, so this will hold a lot of power. Moving on from that, this is more of like a cosmetic type of upgrade. He's upgrading the speedometer, the dash panel, which it's hard to tell what it'll look like, but later on when we get this thing installed, you guys will see. It's like all digital, looks really nice, makes it look like a brand new car. But yeah, those are all the parts for now. Later on, when we get the rest of the parts in, I'll show you guys what comes in. So other than that, let's get a quick little startup video, see how it sounds. We could get Georgie boy right here to help us start the car. Get in there. Why do you have an empty bottle of 1942?
Well, after the $5 a month you've been paying me for the last 2 years, I could only afford the bottle and about 2 shots in it. So maybe another 2 years later, you know,
maybe another 2 years later you could get about this much of the bottle filled up.
That's what we're aiming for, man.
$5 a month pays a lot nowadays, Georgie. Come on now. In a year, how much will you have?
$60.
There you go.
Full
there you
tank
go,
of
you
gas.
big
I won't
goof.
have to walk here.
That's not even a full tank of gas. But give us a quick little startup. Let's see how this thing sounds, and then we'll move on to working on the damn car. Hopefully in a few videos from now we can hear a little supercharger whine coming from that also. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and start by like taking apart the top end right here, taking off both the air boxes and like the intake manifold and stuff like that. So I'll get the radiator and the fan and shroud and all that stuff off first. I think I want to take off the front timing cover and the oil pan before like moving on to the clutch and transmission area. I was debating on dropping the whole engine. I'm still debating it, but we'll see after I start taking things apart. So let's get to work. Alright guys, so I already went ahead and took off a bunch of parts. I already stored most of the parts like in the trunk and some parts outside for now. Took the whole radiator assembly out, cooling system out, all the radiator hoses. Took this top intake plenum off with both intakes. So I'm just going to be doing everything on the car. I've decided not to take out the engine. It's going to be easier this way. Taking out an engine is honestly a pretty big hassle, so I'm just going to do it this way. It'll be much quicker as well. So I think I'm going to start off by doing the front timing and getting that taken care of, getting the timing all back together, and then taking care of the bottom end. So moving on to the rod bearings on the bottom, and probably finally I'll move on to the clutch part of the job. So right now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is start taking off like the belt assembly and pulleys and things like that, and also the 2 valve covers. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this stuff all taken apart and hopefully get the timing covers off as well, and then I will get back to you guys once that is all done. Alright guys, after all that work, I finally got the timing covers off. It took a pretty long time to get to this point because I had to drop that lower oil pan. The reason I had to drop this lower oil pan is because there's 6 bolts, I believe, that bolt onto the timing cover. So I went ahead and did that first, drained all the oil. Then I removed the valve covers and all the components. I set the cams to top dead center. I'm not going to go into detail on how to do like the timing or anything like that in this video because there's videos out there that already go in depth with that. So yeah, I set the cams to top dead center. I removed both of the dual Vanos units, and then I moved on to getting the front main timing cover pieces off, which was fairly easy, but there was one bolt that's like in here that's pretty annoying to get to. That was the only annoying thing that took me probably an hour just to get that one bolt off, only because there's only so much room in that little area. But yeah, other than that, timing covers are off. These right here are actually a part of the head gaskets, which you do not want to bend or mess up or anything like that. When going back on, it's best to put a little bit of like RTV sealant on both sides of the gasket. That way you don't get any leaks or anything like that, because obviously in order to change the head gasket, both the heads have to come off, and it's just a completely different job. But yeah, what I realized with the timing guide is that we caught it just in time. Just check out how loose this guide is, guys. You can like move it up and down. That plastic guide itself is not supposed to move this much. The other guides don't seem too bad. This one has a little bit of play in there, but the car does have a lot of miles, so we needed to get this done. What I have to do next is get these guides off of here, and also the chains as well. So yeah, without further ado, let me go ahead and get the new guides and new chain on there, get the timing done, get the Vanos done, and pretty much all back together. Hopefully in the next few clips I'll have this entire thing all back together. Alright guys, so I finally got the entire engine all back together. Obviously I didn't put like the radiator and the cooling system or anything like that back together just yet because I want to start the car and make sure it runs good. You can start it for only a little bit of time before the car actually needing coolant, like before it warming up. So I'm gonna go ahead. I already primed the car, so I pulled the fuel pump fuse out of it, tried to start it a few times. That way it pumps oil through everything and we won't have any issues when trying to start the car for the first time. That's like a crucial step that you have to make sure you have to do when doing any work like that, whether it's like rod bearings or like timing, anything like that. Make sure you guys prime the engine first. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start it for the first time and hopefully it all runs good. As you guys just saw, the car runs pretty damn good. You guys probably heard like a little bit of clicking going on, but that's only because the engine obviously hasn't warmed up, oil hasn't warmed up, it hasn't got to like the lifters very well or the Vanos units. So when we go out for a test drive, then all that clicking and all that stuff will go away. But other than that, the engine seems like it's in time and the timing is correct, so that's good news. I'm not going to put this radiator and stuff back on just yet. I think I'm going to end the video here, and then in the next video I'm going to be doing the rod bearings on this engine along with the clutch install. I believe I'm going to do that in the next video as well. I don't know just yet, but for sure you guys will see the rod bearings done, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment down below what you guys think about this build. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.